Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing another overview of one of my products on my Etsy store. So this is one of my top sellers. It's the Velocity Banking Bundle. So basically what it does, it's a bundle that helps you keep track of your credit card debt. And it has different systems included. So I have the basic Velocity Banking, which is basically just the Velocity Banking spreadsheets. But with this one, I also added a payment plan and balance transfer schedule. So I'm going to quickly go over each part and then I'll just show you what each one has. The first thing you're going to do is when you receive this, you want to come over here and you want to add your card. So I created fake card names here. And then just like the type, you know how sometimes they say like rewards or whatever it is. So it's the name of the credit card. You will add this, then you will add the type, and then you will put your image. And I just put like random images of credit cards. These are not the actual ones. And yeah, so I'll show you once you have that. First, I'm going to go over the Velocity Banking part, which is this. And you get it for every month. You get to track your credit cards. For example, I'm going to change this to number 7. And then this one I am going to change to credit card 8. And let me just fix the spelling on that quickly. So yeah, basically you want to add your cards and you could get, I got these images off the internet. I don't own these images. I'm just using them for the sake of showing you how it works. And then this one, I'm just going to change it to a different card. I'll just change it to the red one. Okay. So here we have our Velocity Banking. And Velocity Banking, the thought behind this is if you do not have cash flow to cover your monthly payment, what you do is you subtract whatever it is that you have fixed bills, for example, the rent or anything like that. You will subtract anything that you have to pay immediately that's fixed. And then whatever you have left and you can buy with your credit card, you put it into your credit card. Now, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. This is just a quick description of how it works. There are some really great channels that describe this system and how to utilize this system. And if you do a search, you're going to find them. So basically, I did not do this when I had debt. I had a lot of credit card debt. I also had student loan debt, which I did pay off before I paid off my credit card debt. And then I had credit card debt, and I did not have the system, and I wish I did, because at one point I was that person paying off that large amount of debt. And in a little bit, I'm going to tell you how I was able to pay off my debt and not really pay too much interest, but did have fees, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But first I'm going to discuss this system. So the way this works is, and I'm just going to erase this so that I could show you. Okay, let's say I don't have any money left over at the end of the month to pay my credit card. My credit card has gone so exceedingly high. My monthly interest is up to about $2,250. My APR is 29%. And every month I'm falling short of paying that. So I'm just going to show this one. Let's say we just make the payment, right? So here we go. For next month, this is next month, it will be about $245. And this is going to be accurate, but it's not going to be 100% because it's going to be just about right. And I remember when I first did this and I had my credit card and I was using this to track it. I was using this system to track it. I didn't know about Velocity Banking, but I did know about this system. I noticed it was like a couple of cents off, but it was like 1 or 2 cents. And I think that was fixed because I think it was regarding the number of days in the month. But it was like 2 to 3 pennies, which might be. I don't think you need to worry about that. So yeah, let's say you just make $25 payments. Your monthly interest will be $245 coming next month. So let's say that you decide, well, I am going to start paying off my credit card every paycheck. So let's say I'm going to use a very simple number. Some of you make more, some of you make less. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to put in $2,000. After I pay everything, I got $2,000 left. I make $3,000, but I use some for the rent, and I use some for some other bills that I have to cover that I cannot pay with my credit card. So I'm going to do this, actually 500, and then 500. Let's do it another 7 days. So we're gonna say we're gonna throughout the month put in $500 payments. So we already see a change. Remember, we're gonna utilize a lot of this money, and I'm gonna say over here I'm gonna spend $225, right? Another $225 here, a $500 here, and then and we still have, this is 500, so we still have 1,000 left. So 225, and we still got 500 left. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So if you see, if we utilize this system, even though we didn't really pay anything extra, the monthly interest went down. So if you see, that's gonna start helping you in the long run, because even though we stood at the same amount basically of that, and let's look at the balance. This was 10,220 because we just paid the minimum, right? And 200, and then this one. So over here we didn't pay anything extra. We just paid the minimum balance. And let's do this one here. Let's check if we just paid the interest, which was the $269. So let's look at this. Still $227. Monthly interest went down. This total amount did go down, but this amount didn't accrue. So over the long run, I'm going to take this amount here and put it here. 10,127.99. And I'm going to say, I'm going to use the same, actually, allow me to bring that over here. So I'm going to say it's 10,127.99. And we did the same system. And it's still less. So monthly interest is still less. So let's say, for example, you are able to make a extra $500 payment. And let's look at this. 500 payment at the end of the month. 230. So it went down significantly. And look at the balance. The balance went down a lot more because you're not accruing this interest. And let's say you make the payment in the beginning. So we're going to take a look at this. It's 230, right? But we decide we're going to make that payment at the beginning of the month. 219. So with this chart, what's awesome about it, it lets you see every details about paying your credit card debt. Because the system, it accrues interest daily. So if you take away 500 at the beginning of the month, of course the interest is going to be less every day. So this is the first system. Like I said before, I did not utilize this system. I did not know it existed. I'll be honest, I did have this template. And I only was utilizing it at the time to see the interest. I wanted to know what the interest was going to be for the following month. And I didn't realize that this system, I didn't know any of these little details that I found out afterwards that I didn't utilize. But I did use a different system, so I'm going to just show you what I did. First of all, I always did a payment plan. So let's say if I had card 1 and I owed $10,000, every week I knew what I was going to put towards that card. So I knew, okay, this is my payment plan. This is what I'm going to do. So the way this works, every month you can decide, okay, for January, and you could do this for the whole year. Like sometimes I would plan out the whole year in advance. So let's say I knew what I wanted to pay. I knew what I was earning for the year. So I knew that this is how I want to do it. Even let's say I was not working, whatever happened, whatever. I knew that this was my goal. This was my plan. This is what I had set out. So number one, is I set out a plan for myself and I stuck to it. And this helped me stay on track with paying off about $30,000 in commercial debt. So then the next thing I did was, because I would not get ahead if I had all that interest. I know that I had large amounts of interest. I planned out balance transfers. So you could plan out balance transfers, but it could get confusing when you have 7 credit cards. At one point, I think I did. I had about, 5 to 7 credit cards. And then I just decided, well, I'm accruing interest. I'm never going to get ahead if I keep on accruing interest. So I would every month go and look at my statements, and I would really notice my balance transfers. Like I would go to the statement. It tells you the amounts you're being subject to. So for example, the way I would do it, I said I did have, let's say I have a Bank of America card, right? And it could be any credit card. I had a total balance of, let's say, $10,000. And of course, that balance transfer has to expire somewhere in the future. So subject to balance transfer, let's say it's $7,000, because the other one is money that you owe that's not subject to balance transfer. So I have $7,000 that I have to pay off in 11 months, and I have to pay $636 in order to make sure that I pay this on time. And I would do that for every card. So let's say I have a different credit card, it's $5,000. 7, let's say is nearby. Let's say it's like near is about, let's say the 11th, 26, 25. Let's say I owe on this only $2,500, and I have the amount of months that I have in the future will be 1, because basically we're not counting the other months. So it's 9, 10. You have 1 month to really pay that $2,500. So the way this helped me was that it let me know, okay, I gotta be on track for this month. I gotta start planning another balance transfer. So basically, this is how I kept track of my balance transfer. I always knew what was coming up, and I made sure to make payments on them. So this is the Velocity bundle. It has different ways for you to really be engrossed in your payment, because paying off credit card debt, whether it's $50,000 or $20,000, is stressful. But if you're on top of it and you are attentive to it, and you create systems that enable you to stay on top of it in a very organized way, it becomes a lot easier. You're like, a lot of people lose track of balance transfers because they don't track. So this, every month you could put your credit cards and then notice, okay, this balance transfer is coming up. And my objective, of course, was to pay the least amount of interest. I still had pay a transfer fee, but it definitely was not all the interest that was being garnered every month. So this is a quick overview of my Velocity Banking spreadsheet. If you have any questions in the comment section, let me know. This is available in my Etsy store, and I have 2 versions. I have the basic Velocity Banking that only includes the Velocity Banking, and then this one I've upgraded it and I've added the payment planner, and in addition to that, I've added the balance transfer tracker. So please let me know. Thank you for watching my channel. And if you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe. Bye.